This episode on the Subtle Foodie Podcast, Frank and I are going to be joined by Jeffrey Wood of Hebrews Coffee up in, we're going to call it Conroe, Magnolia off 1488. This is going to be exciting. I love coffee, Frank.
Coffee's great. Everyone should try it.
Join us for this podcast brought to you by Fajita Pete's and
Euro World Motorsports.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 8 of the Subtle Foodie Podcast. We are here with Jeffrey from Hebrews Coffee. Super excited about this because, as you guys know, I'm a super coffee guy.
Oh, I'm a hardcore coffee guy. In fact, when I was in grad school, I worked at a Starbucks. And I was Starbucks trained.
Starbucks trained. Are you Starbucks certified?
Well, whatever that was, it was 40 hours of classwork.
Wow.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
Before they let me get in front of customers.
I was a Subway sandwich artist.
Do you feel artistic?
I don't. No. Frank, thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here as
How
always.
are you?
Oh, glad to be here.
We got any sponsors today?
Yes, we have Euro World Motorsports, which, of course, the very best for what you need for your Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, or AMG.
Hey.
And, of course, my favorite fajitas to go is Fajita Pete's on Gosling and in Conroe.
Yeah. And today is St. Patrick's Day, by the way.
Yes,
The day we're filming this. I'm wearing a green shirt in front of a green screen, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But... So Fajita Pete's does always have green margaritas, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if you want a green margarita, you can have one. Jeffrey, thanks for joining us.
Oh, I'm excited, man. This is great.
This is cool. So I was introduced to your coffee by you at the Grogan's Mill Farmers Market a number of years ago. This was pre-pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually introduced us to Purify Coffee, which is... And like you said, oh yeah, here, taste this. You'll taste the blueberry.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I've never had blueberry in coffee, but sure. And I tasted it and love it. And so I'm not a Starbucks guy, by the way. I only drink black coffee.
You're untrained.
I am untrained, gladly untrained. I do not need a Frappuccino. I do not need a whatever with 5 pumps of whatever. I need really, really good quality black coffee. And I've actually gotten my wife into it, and so every morning she makes a 10-cup Chemex of coffee, heated water, the right amount, right weight of fresh ground beans. So we're using this.
He's a real coffee guy.
Yeah,
that's
we're
real
using
coffee
this
talk right there.
Coffee. It's called Heart of Darkness.
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
It's an espresso.
I'll have the Heart of Darkness, please.
It's an espresso roast that we use in a Chemex, and we grind down a little rougher than an espresso grind. It is so good.
Yeah.
It is so good. It's not bitter. It just has such flavor to it. And we were part of a Coffee of the Month club at one point that was being done here in the Woodlands, and I just spaced on the guy's name. He actually had me on his coffee podcast.
Oh, cool.
It was the first podcast I was ever on. And he kind of had this service where it was a monthly subscription from local roasters around the country. And that he ended that, but we found another one because we liked it so much.
Yeah.
Then we got on to this Heart of Darkness. We basically said, stop sending us new stuff. We just want this one thing. And now we have like 40 pounds of it because we can't drink it fast enough.
Yeah.
But
nice.
I'm a super coffee guy. Frank, I know you're
I'm into it.
Starbucks coffee guy.
No, ho. I'm not a Starbucks coffee guy. I'm a coffee guy who worked at Starbucks.
That's
two different things.
That is probably two different things.
Now, I will credit my knowledge of coffee to that course they made us take to work at Starbucks. But upon my departure from Starbucks into the regular civilian world, it gave me a deeper appreciation for coffee of makes and brands and what have you, with an understanding of all the various processes involved in making it happen.
Yeah.
And that's what we learned as much about how it's grown, how it's cleaned, how it's dried, how it's transported, roasting, and all the technologies that went with it.
It's complicated.
It's not a small thing. It's a massive science unto itself.
Yeah. But before we get into that, let's get into Hebrews. So you guys now you used to have the trailer. tool around different places, farmers markets, locations, whatever. Now
Sounds
you've
so easy.
got, it sounds, it's super
Sounds
easy.
so
So this
easy.
started as
I mean, come on, it's a food truck. I mean,
Yeah.
it's, you know, how hard is it to hook it up and drive it wherever? I've seen you tooling around town before.
Yeah.
Like I said, we met there, but now you've got a brick and mortar
Yes, we do.
in a super location.
Yeah, super location.
So tell us a little bit about that.
It's not a super location. If you guys, hopefully you guys have seen us around or have tasted the coffee. Again, my brother was talking about Purified Coffee Roasters, beautiful roaster that started off, when I called him, I said, hey, somebody gave me your number. We got a coffee trailer. I heard you roast coffee. And he said, listen, I gotta be honest, I'm roasting in my living room. I'm like, great. Wow. Doesn't everybody roast in their I don't know how this works, but so him and I started out like 4 years ago, same time, same everything.
So you started selling coffee at the same time he started roasting coffee.
He had probably been out. We have similar stories and testimonies, which we didn't know at the time, which is so cool. Makes our partnership work so well. And anytime you have great coffee, it's like your car guy, right? So it's great when you go to the Mercedes dealership because they give you a good service retail experience, but they're not making the vehicle.
No.
Mercedes is sending that thing over and now they're retailing. Same way with coffee. Mm-hmm. We have a manufacturer here in Old Town Spring called Purified Coffee Roast with Chris Johnson, and the kid is amazing. He's not a kid, he's my age, but he's amazing. And his quality and his timing and his ethics on everything and the way he brings kids in to work with him at the roastery is phenomenal. We couldn't do it without you, Chris. So if you're listening.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
That's my plug.
I love your coffee, by the way.
What's so amazing to me about coffee is, there's three big components to it. Primarily, where it's grown. Mm-hmm. Secondly, does the roaster know what he's doing?
Yeah.
The roaster's got to know what he's doing because he can absolutely ruin the coffee.
Yes, yeah.
But then the final and biggest impact on the coffee is the retail.
Yeah.
That final delivery is the single biggest impact on the coffee because you can make up for a lot of things on the machines that you can't make up for anywhere else.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what you're doing on the retail side, it's prime importance to the delivery experience.
It is, and there's a very the culture of coffee world. Okay, we broke into the culture of coffee world through a coffee trailer. We were given a lot of grace, and it wasn't always great in the beginning. It could be hot outside, cold outside, whatever. But I'll tell you, as a business owner, nothing has caused us to appreciate the growth and expansion that we've seen than those 2 years we sat and sweated in a trailer and made $60 a day. So I mean, for all the new growth that we're getting, I feel like Chick-fil-A, I'm like, all right, these guys are going to sit in a trailer for a year. They're going to really sweat it out. They want to be a part of this. They're going to get it,
Yeah.
But you can't circumvent those things. And so when we finally got to a place where we could hire real baristas and we could train them ourselves, I realized that culture is very different. Coffee shops are not always kind and nice.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. And it's very sad because it's still a customer relational product and program.
Oh, yeah.
And so when I go into shops, I want to be liked and loved, man.
Yeah.
I want to be known, whatever. So we've treated that, and we've become a very relational model at Hebrews. And so what they were saying was, you're a great location. You guys are in retail and you're doing food and bev, and I would have told you that I would have fought against a brick and mortar forever. I would have rather had 5 trailers
Me too.
and no rent and put them everywhere. But I can't. It's like God has got to expand your mind to think you can only do so much with your 1 to 5 trailers.
Yes.
You can only affect so many people with your 1 to 5 trailers. And we're not really in a coffee business. We're in a people business.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Some of our coffee culture, and I think Starbucks, and I'll say this, I worked for Starbucks for a year under the idea in Hughes Landing that I said, hey, I'd like to open a coffee shop one day. I want to get some training with you guys to see how it's done. So I have a decent, good relationship with the Starbucks Corporation, and great story with them for hiring me and all that. But they've done an amazing job at giving third space between home and work.
Yeah.
That's what they taught that in training.
And that's what, whether frankly it's a restaurant or a coffee shop, which I'm gonna equate to a restaurant.
Yeah, yeah.
We can
now.
They're gathering places.
Yeah.
Right? They're you're sitting with friends, with family, strangers, whatever, and they're gathering places, whatever it is. And is that place safe? Is that place comfortable?
Yeah.
Is that place conducive to conversation, to interacting with somebody else or learning from somebody else? And I think coffee shops are more that than restaurants, because you generally you don't go to a coffee shop for a meal,
No.
Yeah.
right? You're not. It's very restaurants are very transactional almost, where you
Yeah.
go in, you eat, you do your thing, you leave. Coffee shops, I've always said, and I've been to a ton of coffee shops, and I mean, I remember I used to hang out at Honeymoon down in town,
Yeah.
which was an unbelievable gathering place, just the way it was structured. Third Gen, places
Yeah.
like that they're gathering places where you go, you sit, you interact, you work, you talk, you chat, you socialize, you do whatever, and that's so important. And so that's what you guys seem to have developed up there.
There's a ton of coffee shops out there, and they all do a great job. How do we differentiate between those and us? And I'll give you one differentiation. We are strong in the faith and family market. It's not overwhelming. You're not going to see Jesus all over the walls, but you're going to walk in there and it's going to be like, this is different.
Yeah.
And the different is the connection level. What the pandemic did to us is it separated and caused great divisions between people where they couldn't even talk anymore. When I walk in other coffee shops, there's guys on laptops and there's girls over here doing this, and everybody's quiet and silent like they're in a library. Hebrews is not that coffee shop. You're not going to want to come for that. In fact, it's like a party every day, and we've created an atmosphere.
Coffee.
Oh, it's crazy, and that's why people fly from all over the United States. If you guys were there,
It's not a quiet place. I've been there.
no,
before.
it's
I've got lots of.
I was going to go sit up there and do like conference calls and stuff, but I guess not.
No, what's nice is we're part of a giant co-work. So there is an opportunity to go to the other side and actually have quiet time.
Oh, okay.
But in that shop, you are going to be distracted. You are going to be talked to. There's going to be somebody who comes and sits at your table. It's just, and it's hundreds and hundreds a day.
That's kind of cool.
Oh, it's fantastic. Now, here's my thing. Woodlands. I'm talking to the Woodlands because that's where we're at. And the heart of the Woodlands is they want, seriously, breakfast. They want to come in the morning. Have you ever been to Snooze, or have you ever been to Toasted Yolk? What? Those places close down at 2 and they are slammed.
Yeah.
What I didn't realize is when we were doing coffee trailer stuff was that, we'll do coffee and that'll be what we do. People don't just want coffee.
Yeah.
They want great food.
Oh, yeah.
My wife, who's not me, I'm not great at those things, but my wife, Hispanic lady, had really said, we need to do some different food items, different cultural items from all over. And so we brought back like the Monte Cristo that Bennigan's had. We just we're like,
Bennigan's.
remember Bennigan's? So everybody was like,
Bennigan's Monte Cristo. I mean, the spirit behind taking a sandwich and frying the hell out of it,
But they don't
and
do that
putting putting powdered sugar and strawberry preserves
right.
and jam. And the spirit behind that is just so American.
Well,
and it was at an Irish place.
Yeah.
yeah, right, there you go.
Well, I had it just Saturday. Now it's a smaller fare, but it was a croissant.
Are there
Yeah.
still Bennigan's around?
No, there's
I'm
not.
talking about
It's on
Oh, you
all
had it. You had
places.
it here. Oh,
We
oh,
have the Monte Cristo. We do a healthier version of the Monte Cristo because Woodlands moms don't always want deep fried stuff. And
You go to Mel's Diner for that.
yeah, you go to Mills, that and Tom Ball, or Magnolia, whatever it was. But no, we do a version of that. So we found things that we loved and liked. We love avocado toast, but I'm telling you that I don't really like it everywhere I go. We developed an avocado toast that's probably the number one selling.
What's different about it?
Oh, it's just ingredients and toppings,
Okay.
different style bread.
Because everybody we talked about this with cocoa, right? Is avocados themselves, right?
Yeah.
And like the different levels and qualities,
Yeah.
and everybody loves their avocado.
People
toast.
don't appreciate just how important or just how pervasive that ingredient is in our culture right now.
Oh man, and things can change and stuff. And I'll tell you that as much as the food and the avocado toast and the Monte Cristo and different food items that are great and they're doing well, like marginally they're doing amazing. These are things that we can replicate because we have this teeny tiny terrible kitchen. Y'all, if you're listen, just come by there and just start laying hands on us and say, I'm sorry about your kitchen, man. I'm sorry about your poor girls back there working 5 in that little room.
Oh, no.
It was the place that we moved into, guys, was cubicles and workspace. The owner said, hey, I'll hire you as my property manager, but you're going to build your coffee shop. And I said, I'm not building my coffee shop back because it's terrible. Because I've been so gun shy about retail and paying for things. Well, he set it up to where we had a really great runway. And of course, I still thought it was going to be my wife and I with 10 customers a day, sitting there all day looking crazy. And I was like, all right, if that's what God, if you want to do that, we'll do it. We'll be back in the middle of nowhere in Magnolia.
Yeah.
And not that area's not booming, it's booming, but you can't see us from the
that's the growth
road. You have to
area
be
right now.
so intentional. And I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak to the intentionality of the customer.
Yeah.
And where we think things are convenience and locality, location. Not with people that are intentional, man. Those people will find you. They will drive, they will fly, they will do whatever they can to go find something special, especially if it's quality and it honors the people walking through the door. Yeah.
I mean, that intentionality. That's a
Great term. Yeah.
I've never thought about it, but that's great. I actually went to see Calvin at Pallet yesterday.
Oh yeah.
And Pallet Indian, which is on 99 in Rayford.
Yeah.
If you're in the Woodlands, 99 in Rayford's a little bit of a hike.
Yeah.
And you've got to make the effort to get there.
Yeah. And I posted something and somebody said, "Oh, I'd love to go there more, but it's just so out of the way." And I said, "It's worth the drive." And that's the intentionality to it. If there's something that you love, is there something that you want to interact with, if there's something that you want to do, you make the time, you make the effort to do it. Yeah.
Well, my own small business is the same way. Because I specialize in a particular type of cars.
Yeah.
My customers come as far away as Sugar Land.
Yeah. Sure they do.
Alvin.
Yeah.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Because they want me.
Yeah.
And all I've done is just do what I said I was going to do.
Yeah.
Fix the car. It's fixed. Reasonable price. Thanks for coming.
Yeah.
And, 6 months later, hey, I need a service. Well, there's other places to service closer to you. No, I want you to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, come on.
Yeah. Because it's a relational models. They transcend whether it be car retail, the Mercedes dealership, or a coffee shop. When I stop looking at people walking through the doors, oh my God, thank you for being here. This is really amazing. Then I've lost my control and my appreciation for that person.
But people also appreciate those in those particular jobs who are dedicated to that profession.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was funny. I'll tell a story about Frank because I told you I used to have this Audi, and Frank did some work for me on it. And one of the things that he did was he just put new wheels on it. He bought new wheels, sourced them through him, got them, took it down, drove down to his shop, which was out of the way at the time, down at Post Oak. And I used to take my car to Discount Tire to get the tires balanced.
Yeah.
And it would take them, if once they started the car, it took them 20 minutes to take the 4 tires off, balance them, throw them back on, get you out the door. I was at Frank's shop for 5 hours for him to put these tires on and balance the tires, because there was a sense of do it right and dedicated to the craft.
By hand.
It doesn't matter if
crafts.
that's cars, fajitas, coffee, whatever, and people sense that, and that's those people with intentionality are the ones who want to go there, and they're willing to spend that time, spend that money, spend that effort to get there.
And I didn't get into this industry to get rich. I got into this industry because I was blessed enough to be able to get into the industry. I had made my money elsewhere.
I was going to say, so how did you get rich? Through the modeling?
No.
Through the modeling. I like that. Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. It didn't get paid.
20 years and 100 pounds. No, but in getting into the industry, I did it on purpose because I could afford to, but it became out of a desire to want my cars worked on a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's that hands-on exactness that I want in my cars. Basically, I'm a control freak.
Yeah.
And the people who come to me are like that.
Yeah. You need that with Eurotop. I just met Frank on Saturday. We have a little electrics and exotics car show that's hosted by our buddy Sahir Syed, and they bring all these Teslas from all over.
Wait, Sahir, is that the guy from...
He used to be at Lavore,
Oh.
He used to hang out at Lavore a lot.
Probably,
not Lavore, but he was... no, that's Steve Syed from... Justin, what's it called? Do-si-do, thank you.
Oh, okay, yeah. He's a sweet brother, and there was a need for whatever. I think that the Tesla community is a little underappreciated, so giving them a car show. And you know what? I'd never been in Tesla. I'd never performance-wise got on a straightaway because there's that straightaway by our shop, and they run those cars out there.
Oh,
I'm telling you, brother.
Hear it.
No, you'll never hear it, and they're absolutely. So they drag us. Anyway, all that being said, I've come to this GT3 now. I'm a big Porsche kid, and my dreams are 911s, and I, all we can afford is Boxsters here, but we dream of 911s in the future. And he comes to the GT3, and I said, man. And my buddy Colton, who works with us, he got to meet him, and so it's really cool to see him today. That we just met on Saturday.
The guy you talk. Oh my God,
that's the big guy.
Can I tell another Frank story?
Oh, absolutely.
So, because this goes to cars and exotics, and I know we should be talking about food, but
well, the cars get us to the food.
That's true.
Right.
I've done a lot of.
There's a reason for cars.
I've done a lot of what I'll call dangerous stuff in my life. I mean, I've scuba dived and mountain climbed. I was a firefighter. I mean, all sorts of different things. One of the most scared times I've ever been in my life was with Frank And was it orange
GT3?
Lamborghini?
Oh, you've been under that. You've been in that car. I forget if you've been in that car.
Yeah. And you took me. You said you want to go for a ride. I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I want to go for a ride in this thing. And never been so scared in my life.
Oh man.
And I think I told you, I said, okay, that's enough.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
because
right,
we were like on like city streets. Like we weren't like on like some like drag strip or something like that.
You feel like the mom that like grabs his chest, like slow down.
It was almost, it was a lot of fun. It was definitely cool, but I changed my shorts.
Okay. I want in. How long do you have to be friends with Frank to get that ride? I want in. I want in.
Well, it's funny you say that because this week is a car event locally, a famous one called TX2K. And that is a big horsepower car event down at Royal Purple Raceway for street cars only.
Oh, cool.
And the big horsepower battles are between the underground racing Lamborghinis and two other big companies that build high horsepower Nissan GTRs.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And they come out of the hole with a nice little roll on, get up to 60 miles an hour, then it's boom, how fast can you knock out a half mile?
Well, I would digress you, but his deal is like 1,600 horsepower, which the horsepower, they're insane horsepower for that.
And that's
too much.
That's
too many horses.
Too much.
And that's the slow old car now that is not competitive. The new cars down there are over 2,500 horsepower.
If you want to hear more about this, Frank has his own podcast.
I'm going to try to sneak on it.
What's it called?
It's called Geoff and Frank Show.
Yes.
Let's get back to a little food.
All right, we're back.
So we are going to pepper you with a few questions.
And he's got good ones.
I got good ones. What's your favorite restaurant right now?
Oh, that's a good question.
Where do you go besides your own? You got all these people, owners, who say, "Oh, what's mine?"
That's a good question. What are my wife and I really enjoying lately? You know, what's sad is we really enjoyed Jasper's to a certain degree. We enjoyed Market Street stuff, and I'm really sad for the industry how much we're struggling as restaurants right now. And so of course we like a lot of Asian food. So really we enjoy Uni Sushi too.
It's a good place.
But I'll tell you, I'm looking at all. So I go to a lot of breakfast places because we become a breakfast place.
Right. Gotta learn.
And I'm trying to figure out how big does this thing get, and then can you just always close it down at 2:00 and go home and have a family? And can that be the industry?
I'm thinking about breakfast fajitas now.
And that's it, man. And so we go to Toasted Yolk and we go to Broken Egg and we go to all these places.
No, have you been to Noe's?
Oh yeah. I've been to Noe's, friends with Noe's, and crepes, and even looking at whatever you might think about Sweet Paris, like coffee's okay, crepes, whatever. They're a Texas company, y'all. They're 10 stores now.
Well, see, I'm going to say this, and I'm not saying this because I actually own one of these things, but I'm saying this because it's something I've had to learn over time. Everybody goes off on, if it's not a mom and pop one-off location, it's not worth my time. But what they don't realize is that there are so many things.
Yeah.
Call it Sweet Paris, call it Fajita Pete's. There's a bunch of us, things like that. But we are owned by people in the community,
local folk,
even Chick-fil-A.
Absolutely.
It's the same kind of concept.
The whole point of franchising is you're locally owned.
Right, you're locally owned, employing the people in that community.
Yep.
And I think, as restaurant chains get larger and larger, so quality dips, and that can become an issue. And that's fine. That can become an issue. But when you're talking about supporting the community, and this is part of what we do here. Well, part of what we do with Taste Buds videos is we're not out there to make a buck. We don't make any money from any of this. It's go out and support the community and identify these people who are out there working hard and employing people in the community, buying in the community, building the community, whatever it is. That's
our heart. And my wife and I, we had zero restaurant experience. And what we became was like an overnight restaurant. And and I think there's probably questions about this, but just all the complications of staffing. And listen, we're blessed, y'all. One of these questions is probably going to be, what did you do to find staff? We have never struggled.
Well, let's talk about it, because
it's the most common problem.
It's one of besides supply chain, right? It's one of the most common problems right now in the restaurant industry is just finding the right staff. And I know a lot of restaurateurs. Yeah. And when you think about the Ben Bergs of the world, Chris Shepherds of the world, who are big Houston restaurateurs, and Chris Shepard just announced he was going to open a new restaurant. And I'm like, where the fuck do you find the people? To open
where are you getting
different restaurants? I just tried to open a restaurant and hire 20 people. Yeah. And I luckily got 15. Yeah. But that was tough, and I'm going to cycle. So how did you deal with it?
Don't be mad. don't listen to
You
this.
said
and
you
be
had
like,
them like lined up, and you're only paying them like $8 an hour, and
I can tell you right now that it started off, and it started off with 6 employees, right? There were me and Marcia. Colton was there volunteering because we didn't have any money. We had a friend who was managing.
So you had volunteers, not even real employees.
Hey, and we still have volunteers. Our world is very different.
I'm going to come up and volunteer. Do I get free coffee?
It's weird. I don't know how we get away with it. Why anybody would want to come volunteer? But it's a culture that we create and an atmosphere that's like it's intense.
Yeah,
you almost want to be at it like it's a
that
party.
says a lot for you guys as the culture that you. I mean, you had to have developed that culture.
Well,
well, he was a part of that culture and extended it into coffee. He brought the culture into coffee.
Yeah.
But if you're a part of it already, the big deal about faith-based is volunteering is a big part of that.
Sure.
Part of that
It is. It makes sense to the faith-based
Giving
community.
back,
And guys, I used to party and drink and terrorize the Woodlands. I have a crazy story how I came to the Lord. I went through all of that brokenness. But then we grow up and realize, well, listen, I don't want to go out and drink and party anymore, but I still want the fun.
Yeah.
I want something clean. I want my kids to be there. It's kind of like what Deacon Baldy's is doing with, having beer and alcohol and these things, and the kids get to go play out there.
Right.
That's great. But there's a part of the faith community that really doesn't drink a lot of alcohol. There are some that do, But where do they get to go, and where can their kids go work?
Right.
Now, this is going to make you mad. I have a stack of 15 resumes right now ready to go with people wanting to work.
Are any of them line
I have
cooks that can do fajitas?
28 employees at our shop right now in that little bitty
You
location.
have 28 employees.
And you're
I
only
told
open
you I'm
till
not too
2.
mad. And we're open till 2. And I go 8 to 1 on Saturdays, and I'll make you real mad. And I'm sorry. And that's just all they can handle.
Oh, and please remind them you're also closed on Sundays.
And we're closed.
I don't understand. Hang on. We have to take a step back.
I know.
He's upset now, Geoff.
I already told. I know.
No,
Somebody
it's
else
not
is
so-
like,
it's not
this
so much
guy's
upset.
lying.
It's not so much upset.
He's a
It's. I mean, I'm thinking about my place,
Yeah.
and I've got
There's
15.
there's no days
I
off.
can run the whole restaurant for 15 people, and we're open
Yeah.
7 days a week,
Yeah.
from 11 to 8:30.
Yeah.
How do you have? How many people do you have in the coffee shop at one time?
So here's a cool thing too about coffee shop, coffee house. Coffee house is a different thing, and I didn't understand until we had a coffee house. Coffee house is a house model. People come into house and they stay and remain.
Right.
It's not In-N-Out Burger.
It's not a turnover.
Dutch Brothers.
Right? It's not a turnover.
But we still see even today, and it's spring break, y'all, so it's really, really intensely crazy there. But they're seeing over 300 to 400 people just in that time period. Now on Saturdays, we're seeing 600 to
How do they get
700
into
people
coffee
in and
business?
out. But I don't think anybody else is doing it like this. So I'm not trying to. What I'm telling you is it was a time. Nobody sees the 10 years of preparation to get to this
sure,
place. They just see the overnight success. Now, obviously, one of the things that was a huge proponent, which I didn't come up with, a customer came up with. Any restaurateurs out there, start listening to your customers, man. They got better ideas than we have. They've been eating food longer than we have. Somebody came in and said, "Why don't y'all do coffee flights?" I'm like, all right.
Oh yeah, that's a
I
good
said,
idea.
"Great, let's go buy boards." Now, I mean, there's a God element to this, y'all. It's not just we were creative and put 3 little pictures on Facebook and they went to 2.3 million views. That wasn't it, man. There was a backstory, a preparation of what he was doing. We wouldn't have been able to handle that kind of business from 6 employees, and we staffed 25 within a month of that thing going viral. But the next day, man, I'm from California originally, and so this guy's, we were doing a Bible study, and the guy's like, "Bro, I just saw you, man. Like, God just showed me. It was a redwood tree in California. You had this little hatchet in your hand. You were going chop, 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 chop." He said, "Dude, God's about to give you an axe. The whole tree's coming down. Distribution's more than you can handle." I'm like, "Great. Sounds awesome." That was the day, Tuesday, I posted those pictures of 3 little coffee cups and a coffee flight thing. I said, "Hey, guys, come in tomorrow for coffee flights." We only had 3 boards. I started watching that night. Facebook, you can kind of see the back view.
Yeah.
It went from 150,000 views, which was, okay, we were getting like maybe 4,000 views on thing. I'm going, oh my God. By 9 o'clock that night, it was 750,000 views. By 11 o'clock that night, I got everybody on the phone. I'm doing FaceTime. I'm going, it's at 1.3 million views. And that next day on Wednesday, they were lined up out the door, man. And they've been lined up ever since. Now,
I'm gonna get him to come and do my marketing.
All that to say, I mean, and I run all of our social media. And if you're on our page, I'm sorry, you're probably sick of seeing my face and all the videos. And we incessantly post information because there's so much happening all the time. But I have direct access through our social media. Everybody's there. So our little 2,500 followers on Facebook went to 26,000 now.
Jesus Christ.
And so every time we post something informationally, it goes out to
gets
thousands
spread
and
everywhere,
thousands. even the announcing of our new location in Conroe, which will take all sorts of like a tribe to support us getting that place too. We signed a lease. We'll be in Conroe 105 in the Loop. And again, we got to go plant a whole new church, y'all. It's taking a whole new community in Conroe, and then having the guys sit there in the morning, drink their coffee. We put people on subscriptions and stuff just so they can be there every day with us. I need bodies in that place feeling full. Facebook it can be an illusion. There's two truths there. I'm showing you the times when there's a line out the door. I'm not showing you 8 o'clock in the morning when nobody's there.
Right.
I'm showing you when the people come with all their fans. I want you to see that part of it. But the other part of it is being a restaurant owner saying it ain't always busy.
Right.
There are times when we struggle. I have to cut staff that day because we can't have 10 people on, But
the volunteers can stay.
Remember the volunteers
can always stay. There's always dishes to be done.
Yeah, there is.
If you have time to lean, you have time to clean, right? That's the that's the saying.
But it's our staff, and if you guys have ever been there and met those people, we didn't do that. Those people are absolutely friggin' amazing.
That's awesome.
All of the kids working are incredible.
That's awesome.
All of them are talented. And again, we have another group that we're trying to raise some funding for, training for this next facility. And our heart is really 3 to 5 shops in 3 years. I don't know if that's real, but I think there's a need in our area for like relational sit-down breakfast spots. Because Conroe doesn't have a lot.
Well, there's only a Starbucks in that part of the Woodlands, and it's drive-through.
Yeah.
And they don't want you coming in.
No, you can't. You can't park there. No. It's hard.
Let's talk a little about the coffee.
Sure.
So I only drink black coffee.
Yeah.
And it's taken me a very, very long time to get to where I found a coffee, both a coffee, a roast, and a method.
Yeah.
That tastes really good. So for those people who are watching this, who are we're talking about coffee, we're talking about all these different things, and somebody who wants to get out of the Starbucks, for lack of a better term, and get into what is really quality coffee. What are the steps? What should they look for?
Well, everybody's going to progress in eating food. You're not going to want to eat McDonald's forever. You start getting to a place like, I really enjoyed this type of sushi, or I really enjoyed this. Coffee's the same way. I do love a filet of fish. Let's talk wine. I really love this type of wine. Yeah. Well, wine is no different than coffee in that it pairs super well with food.
The training with coffee is the same as wine.
It's identical. And when you start tasting palettes and doing color wheels and all these things that the first coffee we had this Ethiopian coffee that was blueberries in the afternoon. Just naturally, that's the way it tasted. Right. And most Ethiopian coffee is going to give you some
That's the purified coffee.
That's purified, yeah. And we don't have that crop and that farm. Let me say this for the coffee world. Yes, just as important as it is to find a great roaster, it's not burning all your coffee to make it taste consistent. Yeah. Amen. It's just as important to find the farm and the companies and the quality in Colombia that's actually producing these beans. Everything matters. There's a lot to the process. We just get the retail end. You don't know what the guy in Germany is building the car, what his life's going through when he's putting things on, whatever. Okay, that was my car analogy. But when we start looking at different sourcing and ethical sourcing, and this is where you get this fair trade organic stuff, guys, I know it sounds like a joke and you're paying more money for it, but you're not getting some cartel ran deal that's happening out of Colombia to get these beans that are not paying the people to do it on the farm.
So let's talk about fair trade organic, because there's always been this whole thing. You think about grocery stores or whatever. Just think about food.
Yeah.
The concept of natural, farm raised, organic, grass fed, fair trade, all of those terms, and whether or not there's something behind those terms. And by that I mean, when you say fair trade organic, how do we know? How does the normal buyer know that fair trade that's what that means, and there's something behind that has either certified that, or I'm getting at?
It's amazing, guys don't care. The reason why you don't care. Here's the deal. Women are a lot smarter than us. And when they start identifying and start really caring about their children and seeing what they eat, it's amazing how the market. Now, I wouldn't have cared about fair trade organic anything. All I wanted was taste and quality. Yeah. The idea with something that's organic, literally organic, is that farm is certified by the FDA that they do not use pestilence on that farm. They're not killing bugs with using, and you're not sucking that down as it gets produced in your lettuce product or your. So there is regulations to those things. If they don't have that FDA regulation, they can't be organic. They can say they're organic without the regulation, but there is some. And if you can get around that and do it, whatever, okay. But that's the idea: is that it is managed and it is regulated. Now, the idea of direct trade or fair trade, this is taking. Have you guys ever been in logistics, man? There's this idea of blockchain. It's showing the transparency and where the thing is coming from. Right. And when we show transparency from the farm to the distributor to the port to the roaster, all those things are important. But if you have a lot of middlemen in there and there's a lot of dirty things going on, it's bad for the farmer. They don't get paid. That was a huge outcry from a lot of the Latin American countries that they weren't getting paid for what they were selling. Yeah.
My big problem is in the big coffee bags when they send the beans over. There's always so much more weight from the blocks of cocaine that are in the bags than when they ship them back. Sorry.
Well, yeah, one of the things I learned from Starbucks when I worked there was they talked about how Starbucks reinvested in the coffee farms themselves.
Yes, they did.
Like the big deal being is when you pull the bean from the fruit and you have this fruit pulp left over, they're very conscious to grab that pulp and reinsert it back into the soil, so the soil maintained its nutritional value to grow a healthier coffee. Right. Yeah. And that was just one example. Plus, they invested in roads and hospitals and schools so they could educate the next generation of farmers of how to be good coffee stewards. Right. And so the reinvestment into those communities that grow the coffee is a big part as well. But again, local government, third world governments.
It's all vacillating. It's all changing. It's all shifting. Yeah. And what Starbucks understood is they can control the narrative at this point. They're not stupid. They went through an issue where the guy was not getting paid and the beans weren't coming. Wait a minute. Hold on. Let's own this farm then. Yeah. And when they finally, and Starbucks has done an amazing job.
That's your supply chain security. Yeah.
And I'm not a big fan of Starbucks. A lot of their blends. In fact, it's hard for me to drink a lot of that coffee because of the consistency of their roast. I'm not a big dark roast kid. No. I like a nice medium. I even like my espressos medium. I want to taste the coffee. Right. You know, and that's the difference for them. They can do a lot of coffee and it always tastes the same, even though it's not great sometimes, right?
Because it's usually, at least I find this with Starbucks. And the times that I need to have a coffee and I have to go into a Starbucks. Yeah. I'll get like a black Pike's, Pike's Peak roast or whatever. Oof. Yeah. It is always burnt.
Yeah, always.
And it's just like I can't enjoy that.
Well, my problem is with their espresso drinks. Just their espresso. Like when I worked there, they were hand machines. Yeah. And the timer was on that machine when I'm working the grounds. That timer's going up to no more than 23 seconds. That ground's got to be dumped. So I had to get very good at getting a good compression for the temperature and humidity that I could feel with my skin in the middle of a breakfast rush. And I became a specialist.
Frank behind that bar. Frank, you ain't come back behind the bar. We need you.
We need to see this happen.
It's been 20 years. Yeah. But in that, Starbucks went to these automatic machines. Yeah. And the first time I tasted an espresso out of the automatic machine, I thought, dear God, what did they do to this coffee? Yeah. It was awful. Yeah. And what happened was we get a perfect 20-second shot every time. Well, the difference is the machines that were by hand, the steam is consistent. My job is to manage the ground compression to give me 18 to 23 seconds. And I could usually do 20, 21 consistently when I got good at it. Yeah. With the automatic machines, they have a consistent ground, and they get you 20 seconds by varying the steam pressure. Yeah. And it's like, well, that's a very different process.
Well, you're not going to get the people listening have no idea what you're talking about. I have no idea but they don't, and it's okay. But what he's talking about is the consistency from a watery shot to a shot that tastes very bitter. Right. And from water to bitter to the thing that really shoots and looks like caramel when it's coming off the ends there, that's my perfect shot. Yeah. And
it foam's real big.
It's and it's, you know what? As fast as automated machines can be, okay, great. But if you're getting bad watery coffee, even though it's going 20 seconds, it doesn't make a great product.
But I will say this in defense of the machine. Starbucks machines, I'm sure, are different, but I've spent a lot of time in Italy. I've spent a lot of time around a lot of good coffee. Yeah. I've never had a bad espresso shot in Italy.
Oh, no.
And they're not being done by hand. They're being done, the majority are being done by machine.
Well, the Italian.
Not the Starbucks machine.
No, there's
Well,
not. These are
there's the difference between an automated push button and then you're actually popping a shot and doing it, and then the machine's doing it. And you're
the machine is doing a lot of the work, but it does take a lot of that experience and know-how. And I will say this: there's a few Starbucks, and I can't remember what they're called. It's like the big flagship of the roasteries
like
or
specialty
something, but they're giant.
Yeah,
and they actually went and opened one in Milan. And I don't mean just Milan.
Hold on, the Italians,
because the original owner was from Milan or something like that.
Yeah.
And they opened one of these things in Milan, and I don't mean just in Milan. I mean right off the square where the big cathedral is. And I went in and had.
And they didn't burn the place down?
Yeah.
I had an espresso, and unfortunately, it tasted like every other Starbucks espresso I've had.
Yeah. No, in
it
Italy.
just but
That's
the place was
sacrilege.
more like it was more like going to almost an amusement park of coffee.
Yeah.
And they were doing the roasting, the big roasters, and the pipes going everywhere and stuff. Yeah. And so you kind of got that cool feel to it, but the coffee wasn't any better.
Yeah.
Wow.
But
it's a lot of effort to make the same coffee.
But a
lot of money.
Your knowledge and experience in operating even a machine that's not just push button automatic, that's and then somebody like me who's doing a Chemex at home.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very specific thing.
Yeah, because that's an exact amount of coffee, an exact compression rate based on an exact steam level or steam pressure that's expecting. Yeah. That's how you produce it.
And it's tough, but once you find it, and so even my wife now, she gets up and she makes, and there's a certain number of grams of grounds that come from the same grinder, same coffee, same filter, same temperature water, same weight of water that's going through that weight of grounds for that amount of time, and it's difficult, but it's worth it.
Well, the way that the machines control it is those packages, they're vacuum sealed. There's an exact pressure of air inside there that never gets corrupted by surrounding conditions. So once it goes inside the machine, it seals. You've got exact conditions every time.
But let me speak to like Anthony. So Anthony is maybe 3 to 5% of the population that wants a great cup of black coffee.
Yeah,
true. That's a next level thing. To talk about a Chemex, what the heck's a Chemex or a pour over? We do those things at our shop, but I'll tell you that most people want to come in for fun flights.
Yeah.
And when the coffee flights hit, it was like, for those people that come in that want to be that 1 cup person and have a really great $4 cup of coffee or whatever it is, then that's great. And I think you do those things at home. But I would say that the majority of our population is fun, people that want something fun and different.
Yeah.
And
but your French press is so good.
French press is great.
I had that on Saturday with the Monte Cristo.
But you know how easy that is for anybody. You cannot mess up a French press. You can mess up.
You can if you leave it in there too long.
Well, okay, there you go. Yeah.
And I like strong coffee, but you can mess that up.
And I'll be the first to admit, when they brought it out to be done, I was like, oh, they didn't bring me the press.
Oh yeah.
Only I know how to do the press.
Oh yeah.
How dare they bring me a completed?
Yeah.
I was having.
Because they sell so many of them, they can't get them out.
Okay, I'm going to try.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I do love a good French press.
Yeah.
But I tell you,
isn't that great? Hey, there's always a breath of like every time we go to new coffee. Now, Marcia and I go all over, not all over the world, but all in the United States. We go to every coffee shop we can go to.
Yeah.
I try to go invest in those owners. I try to talk to them, meet them, encourage them. And I'm so radically disappointed for the most time. And I'll drink drip. I'm a drip guy too. I just, whatever drip.
Well, that tells you where the shop is. A good drip is...
It's a good litmus test. It is.
But you say you're radically disappointed, but that's tough for people in the restaurant industry because we have something that we know that we exactly like in a process that we do, whatever that process is, whatever we do is the right way to do it.
Well, we know what the right way is.
And you get to anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, this coffee tastes just off because I know exactly what a coffee should be because that's the way I do it.
Well, no, but if a coffee, coffee can have a range of flavors.
And restaurants are the same way.
Well, coffees can have a range of flavors, but if it doesn't finish right,
he makes a good point though. So I'm also like not the picky drinker. Let me preface that. I'm actually not picky when it comes to coffee. I'm just looking for certain things that I think would make it a great experience. Coffee has an experience to it.
Yes.
And all I want, honestly, is people go have an experience, and it can taste different, look different, feel different. But most of the time it's under extracted, or it's old, or it's just something to the experience of the make. Nothing against the bean. I don't know how the bean started off. It might have been a great bean, it's a lot of our hands on, putting our hands on the on the plow that really can mess things up.
That's a great bean. God bless us.
God bless him. He died. We sent him home to be with the Lord.
So
it's crazy, and we just drink drip, and I love to go and support those things. And I'm always, here's my big thing too, y'all. And I don't know if this is a question on the deal. It's like, where do you go? Where do you go?
Well, that is one of our questions. Okay. So let's not talk about restaurants. Let's talk about coffee.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're not at your shop for coffee, where are you going?
Say you're stuck on the other side of town. What are you going to do?
This is going to be hard too. So the reason why we kind of love what we're doing in a way is because there's something to do there. Right. Now, I love, and I'd say we have a lot of coffee partners, Noe being one of them that uses Purify, Blue Door being another one that uses Purify.
I love Blue Door.
I love Blue Door.
I love Blue Door because I love sitting there.
There you go. Because why? They create a great atmosphere.
It's for me, quiet. I can sit, I can work, I can enjoy myself. It's a nice environment. People are nice. Food is good.
Yeah.
Food is good.
Yeah.
Coffee is very good.
Yeah, it's. I mean, for the most part, their espresso is our espresso, and their drip is our drip. So it's the same product that we're using. We were able to kind of push our roaster in a ton of different relationships in the beginning, which when these coffee shops started, and it's awesome. So we would go to Blue Door and we would have a time there, But can I have my kids and my dog and everybody there?
No.
Can I take my kids and my dog and everybody to Barbarossa? Probably not there. Great coffee. Can I do a golden hour? It's a different feel there. You know what I mean? It's like so. We wanted to create space. It's our whole niche, guys, and that's why we're a little different. Is faith and family, and I'm talking family. Can your kids go run and be crazy at our shop? Yes, they can. Can all your dogs in the world come up? Yes, they can. And are you going to have this fun time? We always have bands on Saturdays. All these churches volunteer their worship leaders, so we always have some crazy band out there, and they're always amazing. There's always a community effort of volunteering, which is great, and they promote, and those guys are the ones that are telling your story.
Right.
Again, we're not. You can't drive by me and say, "Oh, cool, I saw Hebrews on the side of 1488." No, you're not.
No, you did not.
You're 5 minutes off of 1488.
You had to go down the street to find you, and
through the
turn,
and through the parking lot,
and through the woods, and through the hills, and I mean, it's just crazy. So it's the word of mouth that happens. But ultimately, what we want to do, we want to create a space. Where do I get up on Saturday morning to go, like with my kids, and that's what we need. And restaurants are one thing, but again, my kids aren't running crazy in restaurants. Yeah. I need a space like, Chick-fil-A has. Yeah, Chick-fil-A has jungle gyms. I would love to have jungle gyms and nonsense if I could afford it. Just a place where kids can go that moms can sit and drink their coffee and be like, there's Johnny, he's having a great time, and I'm sitting here with my girlfriends. And that's what we aim to create in all these spaces. Could we ever have a drive-through? I would love to have a drive-through. I don't, for some reason, what we get presented right now. And
not
guys,
that space.
We're having our town hall meeting like in 2 weeks. I haven't put a date on it yet. I just put it out there. Hey guys, we're looking for angel investors, new managing partners. And can I tell you the response that we have had from y'all?
Tremendous.
Now I know all of you guys are not going to be the best investors. Okay. I know. But there is like
I got $100, so I get coffee. It's not really an angel investor, but not taking you national. Not taking you national.
But I love the idea of like we can push back in the community and give out. Yeah. Everybody has this idea of like, okay, we'd like to be involved in the growth, and I don't think we can do it alone, man. I think we need everybody. Yeah. Maybe not all the voices dictating the business or the culture, but we need the help. We need the support.
Well, you need the spread.
Yeah.
You need the spread. This is great. I love this. I love coffee. I love the idea. I love the whole spirit of the place.
Yeah.
I really do. I said that about Monte Cristo too, but
oh yeah,
I do. I love the.
If it's not deep fried, I don't want it. Yeah.
I do love the spirit of the place. So we're gonna do this questionnaire.
Come on.
I didn't give this to you before, but if you've ever seen Inside the Actor's Studio.
Oh yes.
So this is originally, it's from James Lipton's questionnaire that he does at the end of Inside the Actor's Studio.
James Lipton voice?
I can't.
It will fairly.
But I will preface this. This was ripped off from Bernard Pivot from his show, but originally from Marcel Proust.
Oh.
That was the original source.
Those guys all sound really important.
They were at one time. They're all dead now.
Sound very important.
Short answers, just whatever comes to the top of your head.
Okay, ready?
What is your favorite food?
Oh, I love sushi. Write that down.
Got it. I'm writing these things down. What's your least favorite food?
My least favorite food. Y'all, I don't have a least favorite food.
No, you got it.
I will eat everything.
You got it.
If you like sushi the most, by definition.
I know. But my least favorite food.
Everything that's not sushi.
Soup. My least favorite food is soup. I feel like soup is
no soup for you.
Sometimes it's a waste of my time. I don't know why. Because I just feel like there's nothing there.
Soup's one of those things.
If it isn't so cold, I'm not in San Francisco eating clam chowder. Like I'm like, yeah, soup. No, I'm not a soup guy.
So this normal question is what chef inspires you most, but I want to talk about these coffee folks. So we're going to talk about
coffee
who in the coffee community is inspiring you most,
or has.
The coffee shop, and I don't know the owners, and we only know a handful of owners, guys. And most of these owners are starting out just like we are 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago. So it's hard to say these guys have been 20 years in the game. But I love, and I don't know them, I just love the idea of it, is Mozart's Coffee in Austin. Now, Mozart's is probably I'm serious, like the Facebook following, they've got 27,000 people too. But they've been going a long time. But they have this great outside patio. They got their roaster right there. They got food. They got drinks. And they got music. And they do this crazy light show at Christmas time that makes no sense. But it's like 5 billion lights and to music.
I love it.
And people sit out there and they wait in line and pay $20 to go watch lights and drink coffee. So I like the idea that they've done that. They've capitalized on that.
It's great. Love it. What sound or noise do you love?
I love the sound of water.
What sound or noise do you hate?
Children. No, I'm just kidding. Screaming children.
It's subconscious. It is.
I'm sorry.
That was quick.
Screaming children.
That was quick.
No hesitation.
Well, we try to give them lots of activities so there's no screaming.
Got it. I'm kind of the same way. This is going to be fun for you. What's your favorite curse word?
Oh. We as Christians, we have to make up curse words. You know that? And we can't curse like everybody. So, and I used to curse with the best. Now we all have our own little, you son of a deacon. You know what I mean? You got to really change stuff up.
Or as Bill Cosby used to say, filth and florin filth.
Filth and florin filth, yes. So that was probably my favorite curse word. I would call people a son of a deacon, and they would probably laugh, and I might mean something else by that. But
gotcha.
Yeah.
Love it. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Man, can I be an oil and gas guy and make money? That'd be awesome. It's doing well now, right?
Now's the time.
I really love to do, honestly, my around all that, my heart is marketing and advertising.
Okay.
I would love to help and consult people on relational Facebook marketing on people's faces and things like that. That's my
You want to do a side gig? Everybody does side hustles.
Yeah, I love side gigs.
I got 8 side hustles. This is one of them.
Amen. Yeah. I love it. I like training people to run their socials with a lot more people visibility in it and faces.
See, that's my problem. My face is not in any of my aside from the podcast and the videos, all my Instagram stuff, you never see me.
Yeah.
Because it's not about me.
Right.
The reason why I do that is because it's not about me. It's about the food and the creator.
Yeah.
It's about, because I'm not there to promote we've talked about this in terms of social media entitlement before. And it's not, when I started it, I didn't do it to get my face out there.
Right. Yeah.
I did it to spread the word of those creators and those chefs and those owners who were developing that food.
Yep.
Because that's what I enjoyed
and
eating, and that's what I wanted to promote. I didn't care about promoting myself.
Yeah.
I didn't care about making money off of it.
I think there's a balance between the association of the owner, association of the customer, and association of the employee.
I mean,
The one reason employees love working for us, honestly, is I let them run a little wild with social sometimes, and I blast their faces on everything because they're cute and they hold flights and they're happy and they're bubbly and they're a better promoter than I am.
Yeah.
Marsh and I we do a lot of pictures of ourselves as things like that, but not as much as my staff or my customers. Because if I can get them out there, then they share those things and they love, whatever. I love showing them with their kids.
I'm learning so much.
Well, I mean, I posted that my little attendance there. That was.
Oh, dude, that thing was huge. I shared it.
And the funny part is, I got more response off.
I know it.
Now, personally, I do a lot of political stuff.
Yeah.
To express my.
No.
But it's funny, my response. But whenever I post
we don't talk about political stuff on the show.
Oh,
Right.
good. Yeah.
But
okay, good.
on my personal page, I do a lot of political stuff. But when I post my daughter on a horse,
yeah,
the response is literally 100 times.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And I keep all my car stuff on the Euroworld page.
Yeah.
So when I personally posted, I took the GT3 down to my local place I like, Hebrews Coffee, and I accidentally ran into a car show.
Yeah.
And the response from it, I was shocked.
Oh, dude,
it was 100 times that of what I was if I'd posted that on my business page.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was shocking. I didn't understand.
Because it was you in the community doing fun stuff.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't anybody want to know what you're doing?
Sure.
It's
Last
so
one.
fun. I say this, I won't politically. So we have Greg Abbott's office coming out on Saturday, right? Now, I don't know all about the governor's office and everything. I think it's cool they chose us to come hang out and celebrate. Yeah. I have gotten the worst feedback that he is X, Y, and Z and like hateful things. I'm saying, we're pretty apolitical at our shop. We really are. Christian Collins, Morgan
businesses, it's important. We all have our own personal.
Right. And I never talk about politics in my business. Ever. Yeah. Not my business.
And I know a couple of restaurant owners who can't separate that, and I think you're always going to alienate somebody.
Yeah.
And that bringing those kinds of personal things. That's why we don't talk about politics here on Facebook or anything. Yeah. Is because it's everybody's got different opinions. We're not here to convince anybody of anything. We're just here to promote the food community.
It's so true. It's so interesting. True. You know what I mean?
And you're always going to alienate somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, we have guests who promote our guests, not us.
Yeah. That's very true.
Last one.
Yes.
It's a tough one.
All right. Let's see.
My wife thinks this is morbid, but I don't think
morbid.
So. What would be in your last meal?
Wow. Got to take myself back to prison. I was on death row, and
they have a whole Instagram that's all about prisoner last meals.
Wow. My last meal. This is hard to think about. I don't know, but it better be like a buffet at we better be eating for like 4 or 5 hours. I want everything.
I mean, if you're going to get electrocuted, you want to explode.
Just let it all go at the end, You know what I love? It's a great restaurant that and we used to go all the time, and then it's kind of ritzy, whatever, is Perry's Steakhouse. Dude, they have the Chateaubriand there that is out of this freaking world. I mean, it's expensive, but we go to a little steakhouse every now and then. Marshawn go. We went to Maestro's and all that. I'll tell you, Perry's, dude, was a phenomenal. So I think for my last,
I will say Perry's pork chop.
Oh, they have a great pork chop
that they make,
and the wedge salad. Yeah,
is
I've caught it on
freaking
sale.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Before inflation kicked in so heavily, they had one day a week at a $15 pork chop at Perry's for lunch. And
that pork chop is something else.
I couldn't finish it.
Good job, Perry's.
Good job, Perry's. Well done on that. Well done on the pork chop.
Sorry, I don't go there more, but I do enjoy you and talking.
They have a new patio. The one on Woodlands Parkway. They actually put a patio outside.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's what we needed. Yeah.
Yeah. This is awesome. Geoff, thanks for
thank you for having me.
I think this is really cool. I haven't been up to Hebrews all. I mean, I've had your coffee before at different places, but I have not been up to the location. Now I really want to go.
Oh, you got to go, man.
I'm not going to come and hang out and do a conference call, but
you might not want to do that. You'll not have any time.
We will actually. We'll arrange this. We got to do a Facebook.
I'll bring my car out for you so you can look at it.
That'd be great. I'd like to look at it. I ain't lying.
A Porsche?
Bring that Lamborghini.
Can you bring a real car out?
Yeah.
Porsche.
Oh,
yeah.
Frank has a podcast. It's called Talking Gearheads. And I think what they do is they just spend the whole day arguing. Is it Porsche or Porsche?
That's it.
Porsche.
Beamer. Or
Porsche.
Yeah, Beamer.
2 syllables.
Yeah.
Is it 2 syllables? Is that the German way to pronounce it? Got it. Yeah. Jeffrey, thank you so much. This was really fun.
I thought it was great, brother.
I learned a lot. I want to... I'm gonna pick your brain on a whole lot of things. I think
anytime you guys need me.
Soon.
My heart is business owners and leaders. I mean, not that we have a lot figured out, but there's some things relationally I think could grow in the woodland and blow up, man.
That's so important. It is. I mean, the relationship part of it is so important, and getting the word out there, interacting with the community. However you choose to do that, you guys have taken this faith-based approach, and which is very welcome in the community, and obviously through the success.
It was very doubted when we started it. People were like, "Oh, you're just really cutting off a lot of people." I mean, there's so many Christians. There's so many people like going.
You're in Texas.
This is Texas. This is a little, especially up north of the Woodland, little country.
50% of the nation, or whatever. I think you're going to hit a good amount of people. Well, we love it.
I think you'll be good.
Those people are so supportive too, man. Couldn't be like from trailer to all. This has been the propulsion of people encouraging and getting us out of our comfort zone and boxes.
Yeah.
You guys help us, man. You guys make us better as restaurant owners or leaders.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on the Subtle Foodie Podcast. We'll see you next time.